locker room about going to London? And I mean, is there some? Is this something that's sort of exciting because it's different, or is it just a business trip?
It's both really. You know, it's definitely you get 17 games out of the year, and probably half of them are away. But how many are like away like this? You know, so it's definitely exciting.
So you've never played over there?
I've never played. No.
Okay. So expectations for you, have you been picking the other guys' brains as you're getting ready to make the trip later this week?
I don't think just being over there. I think it's just gonna be football as normal once you get over there. But no, I haven't been picking anyone's brain.
Damien,
Sleep on?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you
Finish
sleep
up.
on planes well, or are you
Oh
concerned?
yeah. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
So you're not
I'll probably be asleep before I even take off. I mean, last time I went to London, I woke up with like 2 hours to go, so it wasn't even. It's like a 2-hour flight. Yeah.
The issue of tight ends and slot receivers kind of getting behind the linebackers and in front of the DBs a little bit too much. Is it a communication thing? Is it guys still a bunch of new guys trying to learn to play it together? Especially the tight end situation. I know you're not dropping the coverage as much as some of the other guys, but what do you think it is?
It's just a responsibility thing. Us as linebackers, we gotta. That's line number 2 of our job. We gotta first stop the run, and then we gotta insulate that little tweener area between linebacker and DB. So that falls mostly on the linebackers to punch out and get up under those intermediate throws.
Is it just a matter of dropping back further, or is it a matter of being in man and or switching out? I mean, whatever you guys are playing.
I mean, it's a lot of different variables to go into it. Most of them come off either play action or boot, so it's a matter of diagnosing whether it's run or pass quicker, and then you wouldn't get sucked up as much, and you can have a better starting point and get more depth when you drop back.
Can you compare Trevor Lawrence now to Trevor Lawrence before the season started? I mean, where's he made some growth that you've seen that's been obvious for you?
I mean, he's really been jumping off the tape as late. I kind of knew it. It would be a matter of experience, man. More games he gets under his belt, the better he's gonna get, and his ceiling's very, very, very high.
Urban said that you had the dot for part of the game this past week after the coaching staff kind of reevaluated some things. What was that conversation leading into Sunday's game where they moved the dot from Miles over to you, and how did you feel it went?
I can't remember the exact conversation, but I think I had the dot for most of that game, to be honest with you. I think I started with it and I finished with it, so I don't know.
Yeah, but did they approach you and say, "Hey, we're moving"?
Oh yeah, that was like early in the week. That was probably like on Monday or Tuesday or something like that. It wasn't like during the game.
Yeah, and what was your, so you had a whole week to prepare, obviously.
Yeah.
But you went 4 games without it.
Uh-huh.
So kind of, what was it like for you to get back to using it?
I mean, even when Miles had the dot, I was still echoing the calls. He get the call, and I hear it, and then I send it to the other side of the defense. So it was just pretty much of the same thing. It was just me getting the call and him echoing it to the rest of the defense.
Did you have a full game?
A what?
Did you want it before anywhere?
Yeah, in Kansas City a couple times, yeah.
Damien, is Myles Gaskin more dangerous running or in the passing game?
I don't know. He's a very balanced and complete back, and that's a good thing about him. He can do a lot of things. Like he can come in right on first and second, and he can protect and get out into his routes on third. So he's a very dangerous guy, a very complete back.
Urban said you guys are preparing for Tua, but obviously, he's still working his way back from an injury.
Yeah.
What is that like during the week of preparation?
You don't really go off quarterback tendencies. Then you just go off really they passing concepts, because I don't think the passing concepts are going to change as much as a whole different person being on the center. They're going to run what they're going to run regardless. So we'll just focus on that part.
You were in Kansas City with Pat, obviously. What's it like when you know that every time you're walking on a field, you've got a guy like that? And are you starting to kind of get that sense with Trevor?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you never think that you're out of a game, man. I remember our Super Bowl run, we was down probably by like maybe 3 scores to the Titans, I want to say, and it was the third quarter, and we came back and won that game. And we was down every playoff game we ever had that year, and we came back and won them all, Super Bowl included. So you just feel like you're never out of the game. And Trevor, he's starting to give that sense a little bit. Yeah, even in the third quarter when we was down this past week, we thought we had that big play on defense that Caleb Von Scripsack and Dakota picked it up. I mean, that recharged us like that, and we thought we was going to go down there and score, man.
Do you sometimes find yourself looking at Trevor and forgetting that he's only played 5 games?
Not really. I try not to even look at the offense, man. I try to focus on what I can control, and that's the defensive side of the ball. And the point is, if the other team don't score, then we won't lose.
How much time did you spend in?
Whatever experience you've had in your football life defending a left-handed quarterback, how different is it?
The ball looks weird coming out. That's starters, but thankfully we don't have too many of those in the league. So.
When's the last time you faced one? Do you remember?
Left-handed quarterback. I really can't say, to be honest with you, man.
Okay.
It's been a while.
How much time did you spend in London? When did you go? And was that vacation, obviously?
Yeah, I went last year for like a week and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
During 2020?
Yeah, during COVID, it was like well, it was right before COVID hit. Matter of fact, I went to the Chelsea match right before they shut down the stadium. It was their last game. Yeah, it was a fun time.
How'd you like London? What stood out about it for you?
It's like a cleaner New York, man. It's like a big city with a cleaner New York. But I liked it a lot, though.
Cool.
Big Chelsea fan then?
I am a big Chelsea fan. Yeah, I got some of my friends from Chelsea coming to the game.
Okay, very nice. Were you always like a big Chelsea soccer fan, or is this kind of a newfound?
I was not, but you know what? They invited me into the stadium. They took care of me, showed me a great time, met some of the players. So, go Blues.
What about Fulham?
Fulham? I like Fulham too. I know our relationship with Fulham. You know. I mean, you got to know your information. You got to have your information, man.
They're
Yeah,
neighbors,
they
Fulham
are.
and Chelsea.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Fulham and Hammersmith area. You're good.
Thanks, Jimmy.
All right,
Thank you.
appreciate it, yo.
Appreciate you. You want your
That's
glove?
cool.
Transcript if you want.
So what advice have you been given about preparing for this trip for London, and are you genuinely excited about it beyond the idea that you're flying 4,000 miles or whatever?
Yeah, I mean it's just kind of ironic we're going all the way to London and play a team from Miami. That's the one thing I thought about. But no, we're excited. Obviously, I haven't been that many places, especially outside of the country. So it's going to be really cool, and to play a game over there is going to be really exciting. I've heard about the fan base over there and how whenever teams come to play, they're always really excited to have a great showing and fill up the stadium. So that's going to be fun to be around that atmosphere, somewhere different. I know we're excited. Obviously, the main thing is to go and get our first win, go win a game. But we are excited to go out there and play.
When's the last time you were outside the country? You remember?
For me and my wife's honeymoon, but that was the first time as well. So we've only been out of the country one time. Well, I have. She's been out a couple other times, but.
I was gonna say, so this is your second time ever out of the country.
Second time.
First to Europe.
Yep, furthest flight. Like the furthest flight I've been on before this was like 4 or 5 hours. So this is the longest one.
Is anybody going that you know of, like from outside of your family or whatever?
Have like my agents, people are going, but no family or anything really. It's just such a long trip. You know, it's tough.
The other day, Coach Myers said that the best quarterbacks could also go and be a defensive coordinator. And he said you're getting to that point. With that, have you ever given the defense at any point during a game or a practice any defensive players some advice on, I saw this, maybe you can do that at all?
Not.
I know you got enough to worry about.
Yeah.
That's the thing, but.
Yeah, I mean, no, but those conversations do happen. I think both ways, is especially being a young player, and like when I first got here, guys like Shaq and our corners and safeties, just talking to them and watching the tape and seeing how they react to certain things, how they are playing off me and how I'm playing off them, and just talking about that. Like if it's a double move or if it's whatever, if I'm trying to look somebody off, it's like it's a big mind game. Like sometimes you have to do like reverse psychology, try to get someone to go the way you want them to go, because players that have been playing a long time, you look them off one way, they're already going the opposite way because they know that's where you're coming back to. So just little things like that, just knowing who you're playing against and knowing what their tendencies are. And I think there's always good communication. Our defense gives us a really good look, but I wouldn't say I could be a defensive coordinator, but I'm learning a ton. I think I'm seeing it way more clearly, and that's probably what Coach Meyer meant, because I mean he's right. I definitely am feeling a lot more confident about what I'm seeing and just seeing the zones and matchups and all those things.
Sorry about that. When you put on tape of you from last week, and then you might see tape of you from week 1, do you sit there and go, wow, I see a massive difference? Is that anything
For
stick
sure.
out? Yeah?
Yeah, for sure. I just think I'm playing a lot smarter ball. I think I've been more accurate, worked the pocket better. Situational football has been a lot better. You know, obviously the past 2 games have been my best as far as decisions go, and just completion percentage, accuracy, all those things. I think those are my 2 best games. So that says a lot, that I feel like I'm getting better every week. And just trusting that that's going to put us in a situation to win games down the road. You know, we obviously to this point it hasn't, but we're going to keep getting better, and eventually, if I keep doing my job, keep making, like I'm going to make the plays. I have faith in that, in my ability that when there's a play to be made, I'll make it. But just doing the little things every play to take care of the football, to get it in our guys' hands that can go make plays, and really just to put us in a position to win. We're eventually going to win some of these. So that's what I'm going to keep trying to do every week, and that's what I think I'm getting better at.
Are you doing things differently in terms of your preparation than you were either at the beginning of the year, or are you looking for things different than you were? Or have you realized I need to spend more time looking at this, looking at that?
Yeah, I think since I'm learning just how to really prepare and what works for me and what I feel more comfortable with, I think I have gotten better at, it's so much about defensive film, but it's also about knowing your plan inside and out. So when the defense does something that you're not expecting, like sometimes you can't watch every single play ever that they could do. You're not going to know everything that's going to come. So you have to be able to react and know where everyone is in your concept, or whatever your check down is, or whatever it is. You got to know where everybody is so that you can react. And I think that's definitely a step that I've taken, is putting just as much focus on us and what we're doing as the defense, because at the end of the day, we have to execute. It doesn't matter if I know. It's like the first game. Like I knew what coverage they were running almost every play, and I threw 3 picks. So that doesn't really always correlate to being successful. So
The history will say you had a pick last week. Do you, in your mind though, is that a turnover-free game? 2 back-to-back weeks?
No, it's not. I mean, it was a terrible turnover at the end. Obviously, it didn't change the game. It's just, it was disappointing for me, because at the end of the game, I thought we put a really good 2-minute drive together, and obviously it wouldn't have changed the game, but to score right there would have been nice. We put a good drive together, and just to end the day on a high note, obviously you'd like to do that. But so definitely wasn't a turnover-free game, but I thought I took care of the ball really well and made good decisions all day. Took what was there, took a few chances, and made some plays. So still a huge step. Obviously, that one at the end, that was not going to do that a lot. So I won't do that again. But
Urban said earlier today that a lot of different factors go into the problems on 3rd down. What, from your standpoint, is the biggest issue, beyond the fact that obviously the more yards you have to pick up, harder it is?
you're talking about just like 3rd down
Efficiency
conversions,
overall,
efficiency. Yeah, I think that's a big thing, is staying out of 3rd and long. That obviously makes it really hard when you're in 3rd and 6+. That just changes the defense can just do so many different things, and they can let you throw it underneath and come make the tackle. So it takes a lot away from what you can do. But a lot goes into that. It's, being smart, not getting penalties, not setting us back. 1st and 2nd down, staying on track. And I thought we've gotten better at that, but still there's more work to be done. And then there's a few plays that we just got to make. Like there was a play where I had Ag on a shallow cross, and I think the DB barely tipped it. And if I throw it 6 inches higher, he might score. There was nobody else. His man coverage, he laid out to make the play, and he made a great play. So stuff like that, you got to make those plays, and that turns into a huge play. And there was another 3rd down with Dan Arnold. It was actually a 4th down. We had a crosser with him, and we're like a fingertip away from getting that one too. So a few plays we just got to make, and then obviously in the red zone, that was a third down where I thought I got in and they, called me short. So that's another one. There's all those scattered that you just got to be, make the play when they're there. Sometimes it's not always going to be a guy running wide open. You just got to, two players got to make a play. So we got to get better at that.
The Dolphins corners really struggled against the Buccaneers last weekend. So as you are looking at film, as much as you are focusing on yourselves as well, where do you draw on? Since I'm assuming logic would suggest look at their most recent tape. So do you go back and look at what they did last year, or are you mostly just looking at what they've done so far these last few weeks?
Yeah, I think everything's kind of taken into account. Obviously, you have a breakdown of certain games that, it's not just one game. It's multiple that you look at. And obviously last week is something you definitely look at because that was the most recent game. And you see who's playing, if there's guys that are hurt or whatever. But it's just every week you just don't really know what someone's going to do. You have all the evidence of this is what they've done in the past, this is what they could do, but then you just have to react to what they're, like I've always said, like flavor of that game. It kind of changes, and they're a team that does that to where they have certain rules, or they, this week they want to play these receivers this way or this quarterback this way and throw this look in there. So you got to react in the game, but you have to know what they're doing. It's like you have to see it and say, I saw this is what they're doing, and then react from there. So that's where the film study really comes into play. It's not necessarily about always knowing exactly what they're going to do before it happens. It's about reacting too. So, but yeah, obviously that'll be a big game to watch, and just putting a good plan together. They do a good job. They have a lot of junk going on base down more so than a lot of teams. Base down almost looks like third down as far as some of the packages and different personnels they put out there. So just making sure we're all on the same page will be important.
How beneficial has it been that you got a tight end that you can throw underneath to with Dan on him?
It's great just having another guy out there that you have your different offensive personnels, and that just adds a little bit of flexibility as far as we can have a tight end in there. And as from a play calling perspective, it's not always you put 4 wideouts out there, it's most likely going to be a pass, but you have Dan out there and 3 wideouts. It's basically like you have 4, but you also got the ability to hide some things, run the ball, have an extra blocker, all those things where he can do both. That helps you, and then just add in depth, and that's a guy that can go make plays, and that's a matchup at the end of the day when you get in these games where you got corners covering your wideouts and their nickel, who's their next guy, covering your slot, and then you got a 4th guy. They're going to have to either bring in another DB that makes them light in the run game, or they're going to have to play a safety or linebacker on them, and you can get a mismatch a lot of the time.
Apparently, Brian, good, D-Rock.
Where you wanted to be developmental-wise, progress-wise at the bye, later on in the season, at the end of the season, or is that not something that you can really do?
I don't know if you can really measure. That. I think just something that I've always tried to do, especially since college, since I can remember, is just get better every week. It's a long season. You can't go back and change anything. I've had some bad plays this year, but I can't go back and change those. And just realizing, you learn every week, and it's a long season. And as long as I keep getting better, I really feel like at the end of the year we're gonna be in a good situation, and we're gonna take advantage of a lot of these situations that are gonna come to us from me playing well. So for me, it's just about getting better every week, not going backwards. There's gonna be times where you still make mistakes, but just overall learning from them and moving on. And I don't think you can necessarily measure that. I just think you can feel each week. I know I do. I feel like I'm getting better, and I feel like it's helping us every week stay in the game and have a chance to win it. You saw like last week, obviously it kind of got away from us in the end, but and then the Bengals game, every week, we're having a chance to win it. We just got to make the plays and finish it.
Apparently, Brian Flores lost a bet with Christian Wilkins, so he had to wear
gosh,
some Clemson gear. So I'm curious, have you talked to Christian at all? And if you can elaborate a little bit on what pressure he brings and the Dolphins' defensive front.
Yeah, Christian, that's my guy. I played with him obviously my freshman year. He's a character. Never met anybody like him. He's different. He's awesome though. One of my favorite people. It sucks playing against him. He's so annoying, but so I'm already ready for that. But great player. Obviously went against him in practice my whole freshman year, and it's like him and Cleveland and Austin Bryant and Dexter Lawrence, all these guys in the D-line, just like bullying me as a freshman in practice. Hitting the ball in my hand every second. Like that's my memory, but. No, Christian's a great guy. I'm really excited to play him. I messaged him in the offseason whenever the schedule came out, and we were talking about playing in London, and he's awesome. You won't meet a better guy, and I'm excited to see him. But yeah, he's definitely annoying on the field, so I'm ready for it.
Whether your successor at Clemson has tried to communicate with you just to sort of seek advice or just.
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said I'm curious as to whether your successor, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his last name, at Clemson has communicated with you to try to get any kind of help in any way, or just.
Yeah, I think I still talk to. I'll still hit him up every now and then and just check on him. I haven't in a few weeks now, but and me and Coach Streeter, the quarterback's coach, we talk a lot still. So we kind of stay in touch. So I check in, see how things are going. Really, just I think everyone kind of goes through everything at their own pace, and you just gotta learn and grow, and he'll do that. And I checked in on him after the Georgia game, and then one of the other games, I forget, and just make sure he's hanging in there. You just gotta stay the course. That's the biggest thing. Is if you don't quit, it's all gonna work out. So he's gonna be fine. But yeah, I mean, we haven't had at-length conversations, but I definitely have a lot of faith in him. He's a great guy.
What's your relationship like with Tua?
With Tua, not too much. I don't know him that well. I've met him I've met him before, and we've talked a couple times, and I've seen him on different camps or trips or whatever. Obviously played against him in college one time, and then I saw him one summer in California, and seems like a great guy, really down to earth. I've always enjoyed spending time with him and talking to him, but don't know him super well personally, but I've always kind of rooted for him just because I think he's a good person.
On the scale of locker room speeches, where does Miles's go from that game Sunday? I heard some pretty rave reviews about what Miles said in the locker room after the loss.
Yeah, no, it was great. Just I think the leaders we have on this team have been awesome, and obviously it's been a tough start, and especially for the guys that have been here, and it's tough, the kind of the situation we're in. But to see those guys that have been here, and just to see the difference in what they talk about this year compared to other years, and they really feel like we're close. And there's just things. Obviously, we got to play better, and putting all that aside, we all know that. At the end of the day, we can see that, but just realizing that if we stick together and just make these plays here and there, and eventually everything's going to fall into place, and hopefully that's sooner rather than later. But we just got to keep going to work and keep believing. You can't give up, and I think this is a team that definitely hasn't done that, and I feel good about where we're at. Obviously, we want to get going, get back on track, but I think we're in a good spot.
I know COVID restrictions will restrict some things, but is there anything on your London bucket list? I don't know what they're gonna allow you guys to do, but fish and chips or see Big Ben or anything like that on the list? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I honestly haven't really thought about it. I haven't even packed yet, so I need to probably do that. We're leaving tomorrow, but I need to look at that. There's something. I think we'll have a little bit of time to go out and explore for a second. So. It'd be cool to get out and see it. Obviously, I've never been there, so it'll be fun.
Very cool.
Thank y'all. Appreciate y'all.